Hi, Pascal. How are you?
Everything fine.
Hi, Julian. How are you?
Hi, Kat. Pleasure to be here.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Um, Welcome to another session of the Marvion AMA. Uh, we are going live tonight with Pascal and Claudio from Geneva and Julian, who is the vice chairman of Marvion. Pascal is the CEO of Quinting, but he's also an economist and a engineer, technical engineer, who is has this vision of creating something that is very unique and very relevant in this disturbing time. And we also have Claudio, who is working with Pascal on this project. I just want to make sure that all our audience who are listening in tonight, they're getting what we are doing here. Just give me a minute. Um,
In the meantime, Pascal and Claudio, what time is it over there in Geneva at the moment?
Actually,
It's 4 p.m. on both cities.
very late for you, and here it's just before time to go to take an aperitif.
okay,
Well, that's good.
Okay.
Yes, Kat.
right. Okay, so the topic for tonight is peace and how the metaverse and NFT can contribute to world peace. So first of all, I would let Julian talk about a little bit about the metaverse, and then I will let Pascal and Claudio talk about what they have in this project that's going to bring peace to this world. Julian,
Okay.
please.
Thanks, Kat. Look, let me begin by saying I'm really very excited and it's an honor. I'm very thankful and grateful to Pascal and Claudio for being present today for this dialogue session. We are very, very excited about the potential partnership that we're going to do very shortly. Peace is obviously, a very, very precious commodity, especially in today's difficult times, as Kevin has mentioned. And I think, the audience will be delighted to hear, what your thoughts and your vision is with respect to peace and with respect to what you intend to do. So I won't jump the gun, and I'll let you introduce that later. But just a bit about Marvion. Look, Marvion is actually a blockchain technology company. And it is actually specifically in the media and entertainment industry. And I think today, if you are a blockchain company in the media and entertainment industry and you don't actually have a virtual universe, I think that would be a huge disadvantage. And so, like a lot of other companies, we are going to build a Marvion universe, which is a virtual universe on the digital world, which hopefully would provide something different than what you can see today. Okay, so even though, like a lot of other companies, we are building a virtual universe, we are building something that's very, very different. And I just wanted to, quickly explain how is it that we're different. Recently, we did a bit of research and we did a poll. And interestingly enough, when we asked our audience what they think was the most important thing when you buy a piece of property in the virtual universe, one would have imagined that the same reasons that people buy real estate in the real world would most likely also apply to the virtual world. So interestingly enough, the one that actually has the majority of the votes was this. People generally hope that if they were to actually acquire a piece of property in the virtual world, they would like to ensure that they actually have a legally binding ownership. Okay, this is very interesting because this makes us very different from all of the other virtual universes out there today, right? Because most of them function in the form of a game. And by acquiring land in the game, you're acquiring land in the virtual world, and no one really thinks about what do you actually have and what rights do you have in the real world to ensure that you actually have something to hold and to actually be proud of. And interestingly, that's what Marvion Universe is going to be different. We have actually been very, very focused on ensuring that our NFTs actually contain legally binding ownership to those pieces of land in the virtual world. And I think that's going to make a huge difference for a lot of people who are looking into this space. And I hope this is what will attract a lot of interesting people to come on to Marvion Universe to participate in what we have or what we are going to roll out. And interestingly, the second most important thing to everyone when they want to buy a piece of land in the virtual universe is their neighbors. Okay, and you can understand why. I don't know whether everyone has seen a recent article where someone actually paid 450,000 US dollars for a piece of land that is in the neighborhood where Snoop Dogg is, right? And actually, that is very true. I think even in the real world, when we buy our properties, sometimes we care about who our neighbors are, and we care about what neighborhood we're in. And this is going to be a big thing for Marvion Universe as well, because we are going to roll out in the initial phase a limited. It's going to be a big thing for Marvion Universe as well, because we are going to roll out in the initial phase a limited. It's going to be a big thing for Marvion Universe as well, because we have to roll out in the initial phase. And limited is going to be a big thing for Marvion Universe as well, because we have to roll out in the initial phase.
Yes.
I hear the thing repeating it on its own. Do you hear that? Has it stopped?
Yes. I'm sorry. I think there's a technical glitch here. Okay, please go ahead. I think I fixed it now.
Okay, great. So, I was just saying that the neighborhood is important because in the initial phase of the Marvion Universe rollout, we are going to have the highest concentration of billionaires and celebrities in that piece of initial land that we roll out. And as I mentioned earlier, the neighbors is the second most important thing when people want to buy a piece of land in the virtual world, who will be looking out for. And I think if anyone would be able to secure a piece of land in this initial rollout, which would be about something like 365 pieces of land for houses, they are going to be very, very excited by who their neighbors are. And the third thing was scarcity, right? Look, in the virtual world, we all know that there's an infinite number of pixels, which means that technically speaking, there's an infinite number of land. So why would anybody buy anything in the virtual world when you know that more can be created? And this is actually a real problem. So what we're going to do for Marvion Universe is that the only way you can actually limit and create scarcity in the virtual universe is by ensuring that you put the limitation in the documentation. And the way Marvion Universe will be rolled out will be that it will be an exact replica of the land parcels that are currently present in Singapore. So we're going to use Singapore as a reference, and our initial rollout will be the equivalent of the Sentosa Island. And that's the reason why I can tell you right now that there are only roughly 365 pieces of land. And once we've sold it, even if there are 20,000 people out there wanting to buy this piece of land, we could not produce more. There will only be 365. And the only way you could own a piece of the land is by buying it from someone else. And that is what is going to ensure that the value of the land will be preserved and there's potential in terms of its increase in value. So I think that was all I was going to very quickly talk about in terms of Marvion Universe. I would just also like to talk about very briefly about our partnership with Pascal and Claudio. We are also very supportive of what Pascal and Claudio is prepared to do. They have obviously decided that one of their missions this year is to go into peace and to actually set up the Peace University. And our cooperation with them is such that if anyone were to buy at least 12,500 Peace NFTs from the project that Pascal is rolling out, that person is entitled to come to us to also request for a piece of land in Sentosa Island. So I think that's something that's going to be very, very exciting. And like I said before, it's going to be a rare item, it's going to be scarce, and it's going to be something that people are going to be very excited about because they will actually have very interesting neighbors. With that, maybe I'll hand over back to Kev, and maybe we could let Pascal talk about his vision and his mission as far as peace is concerned. Thanks, Kev.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, Pascal, I would let you talk about your vision about the Peace University.
Yes, I will start about the peace before the University of Peace. I work for that during a long time to study how it's possible to create a better humanity. And to my opinion and my vision is to create a better humanity is to have better people, very simple. But to have better people, it's very complicated. Humanity is to have better people, very simple. But to have better people, it's very complicated. Humanity is to have. I have a retours. Perhaps you need to close your microphone. Okay, I don't know because I have the retour when I speak. They come back otherwise. Excuse me. And yes, to create people better, it's not easy. And after that, what I am trying with this second part of the vision, it's we need to take care what is very small inside your body. If it's a part very small in your body are not in peace, you come sick. And after, if you are not in peace in yourself to live, it's difficult. Then, if you are not in peace with your wife or with your boyfriend, it's complicated too. Then it's the same, it's a company. How to create the peace to work together, very friendly in the company, it's another game. Then to have the peace in your city or in your country. This is another part of that we need to study. And then around the world, in the world, it's the same. We can see today what some president told about some other president. It's not in peace. This is why to learn this, to study this, we take the decision to create in Geneva one university for peace. And in this university, it will be possible to do a bachelor and after to do a master. And a lot of people ask me, through if we come in this university, what kind of job we can have in the future. Many job in a lot of places, in the education, in the government, in the big company or small company, and first for yourself and for your family. This is a vision. And after, how it's possible to give the course for that? Sure, we can come in Geneva to follow the course in the future very soon. We can give the course online, but something very, very important today, it's to have the course in the metaverse. The metaverse, it's my opinion today, it's the best way. It's the best way. And people say there are the reality and the metaverse, perhaps it's not the reality. For me, the metaverse is the reality, and this reality perhaps become more important than just to walk on the street. And I am very proud to be partner with Marvion company uh, because the real estate it's it's one part important in the life. The real estate or the real estate in the world Marion and the property to have a land, the real property to have a land, it's important. And what Marion uh, create, you have the guarantee if you buy a land, you are the owner of this land. And the connection with your neighbors, it's very important. It's very important in the life. And in the life, it's difficult to have a connection with your neighbors. And with the concept of Marvion, it will be more possible. It's very more possible to play together. But in this world, Marvion, the peace it's very important too. It's the most important in the real world or in metaverse world. We need the peace inside, and I would like thank you to Marvion because Marvion offer for the University of Peace to create the first University of Peace and the first University of Peace in the metaverse too. And we are very proud to work in this part and can create the Peace University in Singapore. For me, it's something very important. And this is why with Claudio we will create one part in the blockchain, one part in the metaverse, and you can take part of the University of Peace with some NFT, and you can be part for the futures. And perhaps I would like listen Claudio to speak about that, to speak about if people have some NFT of the Peace University, they can come to have some course and they can have some part of the land in the Marvion metaverse. Claudio, it's for you.
Okay, thank you, Pascal. Well, together with Pascal, we are currently organizing an NFT issuance correlated to his watch brands and a few other side activities. And we are currently raising approximately $1.25 million to exclusive clients of Quinting and friends of the firm. People who will participate to this private placement will have the right to receive a certain number of NFTs correlated to the watches, which we can explain later in the conversation or in another occasion. But the important thing is that this is a way for us to raise the initial money to get the ball rolling and to start at the same time implementing the University of Peace. And the University of Peace is the main reason why my firm, together with Pascal, is joining you guys in the Metaverse project, because we really like the idea of having a limited project like the one proposed by Julian, which is very similar to the Bitcoin initial plan, which was to have a limited number of Bitcoin outstanding, no more, no less. While we have seen a lot of other projects which are more inflationary and very hard to evaluate simply because there's an unlimited amount of token being issued. So I really like personally very much the project that Marvion is putting together. And I especially like the idea that Marvion has always thought of the NFT as something to be taken seriously and not like a fly-by-night speculation that is more or less what's going on in the 90% of the projects out there right now. The fact that they have trademarked the Fusion NFT means that they not only provide the NFT of the goods that are being sold or auctioned by them, but also the title to the real thing that is coming together. So we have seen lately a lot of legal problems that have arisen in connection with the NFT world, where people buy things just because there's a hype, but in reality they don't really know what they're buying. So putting together the three things, we are aiming to get something extremely serious out there. First, we are raising money with our friends and partners. Second, we will allocate part of this money to allow to ourselves and our partners to invest in the metaverse that is being started in Singapore. And then we will continue our plan by developing the real University of Peace, which is planned to take place in Geneva, about 10 kilometers away from the United Nations. So there are only 2 United Nations in the world, one in New York and one in Geneva. And we are very blessed to be very close to this location and to have the opportunity to have relations with people in charge of the United Nations projects. And nothing more than these days is important to focus on having peace on Earth. Since February 24th, we are having a very, very delicate situation on Earth. And the reason why this war that is started in Russia and Ukraine is continuing is because people don't have probably the possibilities to speak to each other and to understand each other. And these are the skills that Pascal is willing to teach in his university, so that in the future there will be more people educated to fight for peace instead of fighting for war. So altogether, it's an ambitious plan that we believe we can take to the market step by step with you guys. And there will be a metaverse in Singapore. Hopefully there will be one in Geneva and one in my hometown as well. So we are working with you in the long term on this project.
So at this stage, perhaps I would like to invite Julian to explain a little bit about how this metaverse is going to work, and how the Peace University and the many pieces that we intend to put into it is gonna fall together to make this concept of peace in the metaverse a reality.
Right. So just very quickly, as I was explaining a bit earlier, we are actually going to roll out Marvion Universe initially by replicating the plots of land in Sentosa Island in Singapore. Okay, so they will have the same size, the same plot ratio, and the same type of use. So where it is commercial use, it's only for commercial. If it's residential use, it'll be very specific, whether it's for building up a condominium or an apartment, or whether it's only for houses, right? And because Sentosa is a very, very exclusive area within Singapore, most of the land can only be used to build houses. And in fact, there are only 360 plus pieces of land. So they're actually very rare and very highly sought after. In addition to these residential land, Sentosa also obviously, number one, have a fantastic piece of land reserved for the casino. This is something that we will not be selling at this point in time because it's very, very precious. And what we are likely to do is to put it up for auction at a later stage in the later part of our development. However, on Sentosa Island, currently there are also quite a number of commercial pieces of land. Currently, what's sitting on these commercial pieces of land are 5-star hotels, 6-star hotels, in some cases, very, very exclusive marina country clubs. Okay, and what we intend to do is to reserve one of these pieces of commercial land for the Peace University, right? So it's going to be very exclusive, and it's going to be a very expensive piece of land, and that's what we're hoping to be able to contribute that to the mission that Pascal has just mentioned in terms of building the Peace University. And we're very, very excited, and we're also very honored to be given such an opportunity to do that. As for the other pieces of commercial land, right now, for example, we have also gotten interest coming back to us, for example, from the Hong Kong University, saying that they also would like to have a piece of land and to build a Hong Kong University on the Marvion universe. And hopefully there will be a lot of cooperation between the Hong Kong University and the Peace University that Pascal was talking about earlier. And I think that would be a very, very interesting collaboration as well. And also, of course, apart from that, there will be another commercial piece of land that will be reserved for the collectibles gallery, where all of our artworks will be put on display in the gallery itself, so that when people come and visit, they can also not only know that we have the physical pieces in our physical gallery, but they can also see these pieces in the virtual universe. So as I mentioned earlier, Sentosa Island eventually is going to be, like I said, we will have the highest concentration of billionaires and celebrity. In all honesty, if you wanted to meet a celebrity or a billionaire, you're more likely to meet someone like that in Marvion universe than in anywhere else in the world. So I think that's why it's going to be very exciting and very interesting. That's number one. And also, number two, we would also, as we mentioned earlier, be turning this whole experience into something that is going to be wonderful for people coming to visit, not only to own, but just to come and visit and to look at the entire area and see the place and to interact with the other avatars that are inside Sentosa Island. I think that would be the most exciting and most interesting thing you could do in the virtual universe. And also, we also have lined up, for example, concerts, sports. All of that is going to happen in the virtual universe to keep the residents as well as the visitors very interested and very engaged in this piece of land. So I hope that answers that question, Kev. If not, please feel free to ask more.
I'll let the audience ask any other questions if they have. If not, I will just allow Pascal to talk a little bit more about the Peace University and how he foresee it working in the metaverse versus in real life.
Yes, I can speak more about the University of Peace and how we want to do in the metaverse. The University of Peace that we create with Claudio, it's a big project because it's in the metaverse and in the reality, perhaps more important actually. We invest a lot of money for the wear, for gun, and we can see on the press actually, the USA, they give 1 billion to Ukraine to buy gun, but how much we put on the table to create the peace? You know, the war, it's very easy to do. It's not complicated. But to do the peace, it's very difficult. More than 20 years, I read, I write, I try to find the solution and to check the history, how it's possible to do the peace. And it's not possible to do the peace with a gun. Sure, we can win, but what we win? Finally, we just win money, we win cash. And today, the democracy, my opinion, it's around finish. We need to find some other way. And to create that, we need to take care about yourself. And I try to take care about myself first, to take care about my body, to take care about my philosophy of the life, to take care about the family. The family is the first piece of the peace around the world, to take care about people working for me. And now I change. It's not working for me. It's working for everybody in the company. For the customer, sure, but for people, they work for me. It's more important. And the metaverse. Today, the metaverse we can create link with people, and to teach that it's important. The education is the most important thing that we can have in the world. It's a long way. It's why I told you I have one vision where I want to go with University of Peace. Perhaps they can start the job, and the kids will finish the job or continue the job. And like I told before, the real estate, it's important. The metaverse, it's important. And I am very lucky to have the chance to do that with Marvion. It's a very good time. It's a very good time because before, to create university alone in Geneva, it's not very sexy. It's just a small part that it's possible to do. But to do that around the world, in Singapore, we have some link with a university in Hong Kong, and it's complicated to have the link directly with a Hong Kong university. But Hong Kong University asked me if it's possible to do that in the metaverse. It's why I think the value of the metaverse, the value for the universities is great. The value for the peace is great. And the value to win money too. And it's interesting. We can win money in the metaverse too, and we can take this money for the family or for the company. It's interesting, and it's why I would like to say thank you to Marvion company to give the chance to build the peace together. Thank you very much.
Okay. Claudio, do you have anything you wish to add to tell our audience?
I think first maybe we'll let Julian explain the couple of questions regarding when the universe will start and how this will unfold. As far as I'm concerned, I'm on the financial side of the transaction, so my goal is to organize the best possible financial instruments so that investors can take part with transparency, with visibility, with information, and with the assistance of you guys with your network and your infrastructure. I think we can do something very, very good, bringing also to Europe and everywhere else in the world a solution that will very likely attract a lot of interest because, as I said before, it's a moment in the history of mankind where peace is more important than anything else. And we have come to realize this the hard way in the last month. So we are not only working towards a project in the metaverse and a project related to Pascal's activity, but we are working to bring also our little piece of solution to what's going on in the world.
Okay.
So, Julian, maybe you want to explain a little bit about the mechanics, the timing and everything, and how you see expanding this outside Singapore.
Yeah. So look, I think that was a very good question from Scotty. Thank you very much for that. Look, basically, rolling out Marvion Metaverse is going to take a very long period of time. Okay, just building out the entire, for example, building out the entire Singapore city within the Marvion universe would already take a lot of time. Not to mention that we hope that eventually we can also expand, as Claudio mentioned, into other major cities in the world. But I think in terms of when it's going to be open to public, I think this is how I look at it. Rather than actually having a specific time, we will have very detailed steps leading to the actual ultimate opening. For example, today we're having this dialogue session because we're working with Peace University to ensure that the people who are going to be contributing and investing into the Peace NFTs will also be a part of the Marvion universe or the Marvion Metaverse. Because they will be able to own pieces of land where they can build their homes close to where the Peace University will be built. I think that's actually very meaningful. So we have to make sure that we get that done properly, make sure that all of the people that are investing in the Peace NFTs would be able to secure their pieces of land. What will actually happen initially is basically a rollout of these NFTs that actually represent legal ownership in these pieces of virtual land being delivered to the buyers so that they can actually hold on to it and they know that this is something that they actually own. And I think that's the first step. The second step basically would be to also allocate, and in fact, we have a lot of billionaires and a lot of celebrities that have already expressed their interest to secure pieces of land in the initial rollout. As I mentioned earlier, I wouldn't dare say that we're about to roll out Marvion Universe with the highest concentration of billionaires and celebrities if we didn't know that this is something that we could achieve. And I think the reason why we are so confident that this will happen is obviously also because of the backing that we have at Marvion. Our major shareholder himself is a billionaire. He comes from a family of billionaires. And obviously, he also has a lot of friends who are billionaires, right? So I think that's the whole project and how it's going to look. Is actually going to be very, very exciting and very, very interesting. So I wouldn't give a specific date, but essentially the timeline will be as such. We will first deal with all of the investors into the Peace University and to the Peace NFTs. Then we'll roll out to all the billionaires and celebrities. And then subsequently, we will reserve maybe about 25 to 30% of the 300 over pieces of land that are going to be available for purchase by someone else other than a billionaire or celebrity. And it's going to be very, very rare and very, very scarce. So we hope people who are actually interested could start registering their interest. And maybe what we could do is create a white list for them eventually so that they can get a piece of a piece of land in this Marvion universe. So that is basically the short answer, or rather the long answer to Scotty's question. It doesn't actually, we don't have a specific date, but we'll be working as soon as possible to make sure that all of those steps are actually being conducted and being completed before we can eventually roll out the metaverse for everyone to go in and visit. That would be the answer to that question. Back to you, Ken.
Okay, I can see another question from another member of the audience. And his question is, what is the expected offering price of land in the Marvion Metaverse? I think that's quite a relevant question. So perhaps maybe Julian can answer that as well.
Yeah. So look, again, this is a question that I do not want to answer at this point in time. I think it is still something that is very held closely to our heart. Because like I said, there are only 365 pieces of land available in the initial rollout. But a reference that you can take is perhaps looking at how we are working with the Peace University. So I think if any one of you remember, I mentioned earlier that anybody who buys 12,500 Peace NFTs from Pascal's project will be entitled to a piece of land in the Marvion universe if you approach us and show us that you in fact have the 12,500 NFTs. As to the price of these Peace NFTs, maybe I will hand it over to Pascal to see what his thoughts are in terms of how he intends to price the Peace NFTs and how he intends to roll them out over the next couple of months.
Yes, in summer it will be open, the University of Peace, and it will be possible to start with some course very soon. Very soon we take some teachers. No, but the first step it's to build completely the architecture of the course, to build the architecture of the University of Peace, and this it will be the first step. And we have a lot of people. They push actually this project. People they push this project not only in the university to come the course in Geneva, but they come in the metaverse in metaverse too, and it's why I ask Claudio. Claudio is in charge of all the finance for that to work faster than he can, because we have a lot of people like football players, movie stars. We have, just for your information, we have Gérard Depardieu, the French actors. He is now involved in the project of Peace University, and this is very important, and they will give a great value for the peace, and a great value for the NFT, piece. And thank you very much, Marvion, again, because Marvion give a huge opportunity for some investor. Some investors, they come in the University of Peace, but at the same time they will receive land. And we have, in Geneva. Geneva, it's a very small city, but we have 200 banks, and we have some people from the bank. They ask me, Pascal, we have interest to buy some NFT for peace, and at the same time, we know that we will receive some land in Singapore. In Singapore, it's a place for finance too, sure. But I think it will be a good investment. For me, it's a good investment for my art and for the peace. But I am sure for a lot of people, it will be a good investment to make money too, and to have the possibility to speak with some very interesting neighbors. I don't know if Gérard Depardieu will play perhaps one movie, especially for Metaverse Marvion, that I will ask him.
Sure. Okay. I mean, Claudio, I understand that the Peace NFTs will be sold in different stages and will be sold at different prices at the different launches. Are you able to provide any guidance as to, for example, if someone were to buy 12,500 Peace NFTs, which will then entitle them to a piece of land in the initial very exclusive Sentosa Island, what would how much would they have to pay in phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3?
Okay, I give you a rough indication right now because we're still finalizing and fine-tuning everything, also in light of what's going on in the world and the delays that have obviously occurred in the last month. So we are thinking of doing the 3 different price levels. The first price level will be $10, $10. So everybody in the initial private placement investing a minimum of $125,000 will get 12,500 NFTs. These NFTs are related to a formula that Pascal has come up to in the past, because what we haven't mentioned here, that is the link between what we have been talking and the peace project, is something that started already 15-20 years ago with Pascal when he created the first Dove of Geneva Peace Watch. So there is already in the production of Pascal's firm a watch, a very exclusive watch that is limited to 193 pieces, which is the number of members of the United Nations currently. So there are 193 countries, and there will be 193 watches being made for every country member of the United Nations. And these watches represent 2 doves representing peace. So 2 doves cross each other on the watch 1 minute every hour. And this is the meaning of the fact that it makes sense to fight 59 minutes in an hour to have 1 minute of peace. This has been the initial message being crossed by Pascal in the world in the past. And some of these watches have been given already to presidents such as Bill Clinton and even Vladimir Putin in the past, and other presidents, all the recent Swiss presidents. So these watches are already known in the world. And what is going to happen is that we are going to turn a certain number of these watches into NFTs. And we're going to sell seconds of these watches. And these watches and these NFTs will be the ones that we're giving away in the beginning for $10 a piece. Of course, the plan is to increase the price with the increase of the money raise, which will take place later during the year. So we're going to do another issuance of another amount of NFTs at the higher price, $25 is the plan. And then in the last round of financing, we'll do $100 NFTs. And all this will be in conjunction together with a lot of celebrities that are already friends of the Pascal firm, and together with also sports celebrities. And the sports celebrities thing is related to one first event that we're going to do that is related to the World Cup of soccer that will take place in the next fall. So we are trying to tie what we are doing with events that are fun and also that have some sort of gamification, so that we can have help from celebrities to raise this money that is needed, because some of this money will be allocated to the University of Peace, and some other will be spent to promote and expand this project in the future. So we will plan events also together with you guys in the real world, but also in the metaverse. And these events will be the tool that we need to make the projects be known in the world and attract people, thanks to the followers of celebrities and the followers of the sports players that we are targeting in this very moment. So all this will help us getting to a point, probably at the beginning of summer, where we will be ready to then complete the project in fall and in winter.
Right. Thank you, Claudio. So again, it was a bit of a long-winded manner to answer the question from Scotty earlier regarding the price of land. So whilst we are being very mysterious about the value of the land we intend to release, I want to just very kindly remind everyone again that someone was willing to pay $450,000 to be in the neighborhood of Snoop Dogg. These pieces of land in Sentosa, like I said, there are only 365 or so, and you are going to be in the neighborhood of the highest concentration of billionaires and celebrities. So I just want to repeat that. And I think the best way for you to get a piece of the land and to get a piece of the action is actually to go to Pascal and to buy the piece NFTs. Because if you buy 12,500 piece NFTs today from Pascal, you'll be paying $125,000. You will get the piece of land. But the interesting thing is, as you have heard from Claudio, when the second round is actually being released, the price of those NFTs will be at $25, which means that you not only would have gotten your piece of land, you would have actually gotten capital gains on your piece NFTs as well. So I think this is a really, really good deal, and it will be a great way to support peace and to support Pascal's vision. And I really hope that's how everyone looks at this. And from our perspective, that's how we are, giving or rather contributing to this vision that Pascal has. Maybe perhaps, Claudio, if you could also just very quickly clarify, for those who managed to come in and buy the piece NFTs at $10, when you finally release the second batch at $25 US, will the initial batch of buyers be able to sell any of their NFTs for a profit? Is this something that's actually possible?
Partially, yes. We're going to allow the sale of half of them, and we're going to ask restriction until the end of the project on the other half. But the first half will be largely enough to basically, if we all do a great job, for these lucky investors to be invested at zero cost in the NFTs. And at the end of the day, the second answer is they will have your land for free, probably, somehow. Either way, their investment will be worthwhile because they will either own very successful NFTs or a very precious piece of land, or both. Hopefully, it will be both.
That sounds like a great deal. So again, like I said, it's a long-winded fashion of answering that question, Scotty. But my short answer to your question would be that we will not be offering our land at prices lower than what you could get through the piece NFTs route. So that would be the most ideal and the most effective way to actually acquire a piece of land today in the Marvion universe. I hope that answers the question. Back to you, Kev.
Okay, so I think it's a very, very interesting topic in these troubled times. And I believe that Pascal, Claudio, and Julian has pretty much answered most questions that I have, or that that was hanging in most people's mind about how the Peace NFT and the metaverse and the Peace University is going to bring peace to the world. So on that note, I would like to thank Pascal and Claudio and Julian for coming on board for this AMA. And if anybody else have anything to add, if anyone has any other question, otherwise I will encourage you to continue to follow this Marvion's page for future events. I'm sure there will be more we're going to be talking about with the Peace University and the Marvion Universe. So thank you everyone for coming on to our AMA, and thank you to our audience for joining.
Thank you. Thanks, Pascal. Thanks, Claudio. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Everyone.